Hi, welcome back to Food Travel Shopping Channel, and you're watching Restaurant Remake. Today I'm making a iconic and traditional dish from England. And this is the shepherd's pie that I'm gonna be showing you how to make. I did a little research. Before they call the shepherd's pie in 1854, they used to call the cottage pie. And the term, the shepherd's pie, is really, they wanna, basically the shepherd's pie is meaning that you're using lamb. So nowadays, shepherd's pie, a lot of people might use a substitution of ground beef or even ground turkey if you want to be a healthier side. So there's all different version of shepherd's pie nowadays. But now I'm going to be showing you a traditional shepherd's pie. I found some fresh ground lamb and some organic grass-fed lamb from Australia. So I'll be using that today. If this is your first time watching with us, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell notification up on top so then you won't miss any of our future episodes. So let me get started with showing you how to make this shepherd's pie. Okay, and here's the ingredients to make our potato topping. Okay, once the water is boiled, we're gonna place our potato in here. This is gonna be your first step. So the potato, we need to boil it until it is soft in order to do the mashed potatoes on top. So I highly recommend you do this in the beginning before we do the meat filling. And once you put this in, you can put it to the side and we can do our meat filling. Okay, here are the ingredients to make our shepherd's pie meat filling. So I am using my Staub 7.8 by 12 inches roasting pan to do our meat filling. And what is great about Staub cookware is that it's cast iron and you can just directly cook with it, right? So I'm just using my roasting pan directly to saute my onions first. All right, so I'm gonna add some oil. And there's no hassle of using another pot to do your filling and then put it in one of the roasting pan because I have the Staub roasting pan and might as well we can put it directly on the heat. So let's do that. Okay, so you wanna heat up your roasting pan for a minute or two first. All right, so while I am preheating the oil and my pan, I'm just gonna oil my roasting pan on the side as well. Just coat it with some oil. All right, so I believe the roasting pan is preheated. We're gonna add in our onions. Okay, so after 5 minutes, we're gonna add in our lamb. All right, so we wanna break down our ground lamb here. So you wanna just be a little bit more careful here, because we're just using our roasting pan. It's not as steep as a pot. So essentially we wanna cook the ground lamb until it's broken down into brown, golden brown here. And we're gonna just continue to stir as it cooks. So this process may take you about 6 to 8 minutes. Okay, so as you can see, we have cooked our ground lamb and it turns to brown color, so that's good. This is where we can now add some of the seasoning. All right, we're gonna add our black pepper. We're gonna add some thyme. Okay, so the rosemary, the dry parsley, and we're gonna add our salts. Okay, we're gonna add our garlic. Okay, and our Worcestershire sauce here. mix it really well. Alright, what we want to do next is we're going to add in our tomato paste. Okay, at the same time we're going to add in our flour here, just to thicken. Okay, it smells really good right now. Alright, so you can see there's no more lumpy tomato paste here, so that is well incorporated. So this looks really good. Alright, so next step. Alright, go ahead and add our beef broth here. Okay, we're gonna add in our peas and carrots. And our corn. Okay, so we want to mix this really well now. Alright, so at this time you want to taste it a little bit. Alright, so give it a taste and see if you need to add any additional seasoning, such as salt and pepper. Alright, we're going to simmer this for 5 minutes here. Alright, so after simmering for 5 minutes, we can remove from the heat. Alright, so I have a bit too much here in my roasting pan, so I am gonna transfer half of it, or close to half, into my 8x8 glassware. Alright, if you cut the recipe in half, you can definitely use a 9x9 glassware to cook your shepherd's pie here. You want to get basically half of your filling is going to be the meat filling, and then the second half is going to be our mashed potato on top. Alright, so let's set this to the side. Alright, so come back to our potatoes here, you can see, and let's take a look at if we have potatoes soft enough. Yes, definitely. Okay, so we can drain it. And I'm gonna directly transfer the potatoes over to my KitchenAid mixing bowl. And we're gonna go from there. All right, so I have taken out all my potatoes here. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a stir to break down the potatoes first. And essentially we are going to add in our 1.5 stick of butter. I have a little bit more than half a stick. I'm gonna cut some of them out. But we're using unsalted butter here. Okay, let's just add in 1 stick right in. All right, we're gonna add in our heavy cream. Go ahead and add in our seasoning, garlic powder, black pepper. I'm gonna add some salts here first, half the amount, and we're gonna give this a stir. And we're gonna let our KitchenAid to do all the work here for us. Okay, I can smell the mashed potato really nicely now with the butter. We're just fluffing it up here. All right, so once the butter is completely melted, then we're gonna go ahead and add in our cheese. All right, so let me scrape the side of the bowl here first. Okay, it's really fluffy and nice right now. All right, I'm gonna continue to give this a stir. Alright, I'm gonna turn on the speed here because I really want the texture to be more smooth for my shepherd's pie. Alright, so now I'm gonna add in the Parmesan cheese. Alright, so for me, I think it's good that I only put half the amount of salt because the Parmesan cheese do have its flavor and the salt content with it. So I think it's perfect. So instead of 1 teaspoon of salt, I would recommend half a teaspoon first. And depending on your own taste, you can add a little bit more salt at a time. But for me, half of the amount is actually really good. Alright, so I really want to make it really smooth here. So just gonna let it beat for a couple more seconds here. Alright, so I'm gonna let this cool off. Now, if you don't mind how it looks on top of your shepherd's pie, you can transfer this directly over. And I'm gonna do that with you right here with the extra baking, Now for the other one that I'm using in my stove, I am trying to make it fancier. And I'm going to pipe it. Okay, so if you don't have time and you're just like, hey, I'm just cooking for the family, they don't really care about the presentation, then you can just definitely transfer all your mashed potato in here. And we still want to make it look nice. I mean, it's not as fancy as what I'm going to be doing for the other one. The other one, I'm going to try to pipe it. So we'll see what happens. And then you can actually take a look at the results from the two. Alright, so I'm just going to rotate this over. Alright, so I haven't piped it before, okay? So I'm going to try this out. And let's see how it turns out. Alright, so with a Ziploc bag, you can actually create your own piping bag. Alright, so we're just going to use one of the corners here and we're going to cut a piece out. I'm going to cut it at an angle here. Alright, hopefully the hole is not too large. That's always my fear. It's actually pretty big. I might just use some tape to tape it just to make sure prevent from ripping. Just a little extra work. Okay, so that will prevent the bag from ripping. Because there's going to be a lot of pressure when we pipe a mashed potato. So, alright, so I'm going to transfer the mashed potato into my bag. Alright, I'm going to scrape down my bowl. Alright. Alright, so we can close our Ziploc bag here. Just want to get as much air out from here before I sip this in. Alright, so that should be good here. Alright, so let's see if this works. Alright, this is massive. Alright, so we have our Staub roasting pan here. Okay, with my filling. Alright, so let's see if we can do this. Okay, definitely not an easy task here. Alright, so for those who are official baker, those viewers who are official baker, you know that I'm not a professional piper here. But I am going to do my best to make it really nice. Alright, so once we preheated 400 degrees, we're gonna put the shepherd's pie into the oven and we're gonna bake it for 25 minutes. Alright, so after 25 minutes of baking, look at our shepherd's pie. Look how beautiful it is. Alright, so let's take it out. We're gonna let this rest for 15 minutes before we cut into it. So look at the results of my shepherd's pie here. Isn't this amazing? It's totally worth it in terms of what I did with the piping. It took me quite some time. I'm not a perfect piper. I'm not a decorator, not really a baker. I do bake, but I don't consider myself as a baker, okay? a lot to improve from. But I decided to pipe it because it looks a little bit more interesting rather than a flat layer of the mashed potatoes. So I think I did a good job. So if you think this is very attractive and it looks really nice, hit the like button right now. And if you really want to try it, definitely hit the like button below. Okay. Okay, so as you all know, at Restaurant Remake, we always taste our food. So let's taste our food. Can't wait. All right, I'm just gonna use my spatula here to kind of cut myself a piece. It's like I don't want to mess up my piping. I'm doing it so carefully. It's like lots of hard work to pipe it. Alright, so. Alright, I think I just have to scoop it. I don't know. Alright, let me get another. I'm using a little bit more flexible one that is a little bit more flexible. Alright, so let's. Okay. Oh no. Alright, it still looks really nice. Oh wow, all the yumminess. Okay, so I'm gonna try my official taste test now. Now, before when we were doing the meat filling, I had a little taste already and it was really good. So now this is all together with the mashed potato on top. Just want to show you what goes in one bite. All right, my mouth is watery already. Mmm. So good. So flavorful. All the aromatic, the thyme, the rosemary, the parsley flakes, all the dry ingredients after we rehydrated with the beef broth and everything. It is so good. Now, some of you guys might be concerned with the ground lamb. Does it taste a lot of like, you know, people like say like very gamey? It's really not, okay? So probably you want to invest in something like, you know, a better quality of the lamb, and they did a really good job. This is this particular one is from Australia and it says grass fed, so I really wanted to try it out. It is excellent. It is good. All right, so don't mind me. I'm gonna have my second bite. Delicious. I hope you enjoyed this episode on my shepherd's pie. Please feel free to try this out at home. It's such a delicious dish. If you have not yet hit the subscribe button right now, go ahead and click the subscribe and hit the bell notification for our latest video and update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Restaurant Remake.